Want to know the anime I'm most excited about next year? Well, come and find out. Greetings, guys, gals, and non binary pals. It is I, Big Fella, and this is our newest episode of Pop Talks. For those of you who are curious why Credo isn't here, due to personal reasons and other factors that I want to get into, he has decided he will no longer be available to record. So it's just going to be me from now on. So the episodes might be a little shorter than you're used to. I hope that's okay. But like like for everyone, this is a new experience for me. So let's get off to the races, shall we? So, anime is one of my all time favorite things. I started watching it when I was a little kid, and since then I've been watching anime like almost all the time, whenever I'm not working or at school or doing whatever with my friends. But this upcoming year looks like it's going to be a big season for anime, for new series, for sequel series, and for also movies. Because I don't know about the rest of you, but anime by itself is amazing. But when you see it like in the theater, like it seems like the animators go above and beyond to give you an incredible experience, and that's one reason why I love to see anime movies whenever they come out to the US. The only problem is they don't get advertised as much, which can be a little annoying from time to time. But I've been able to see quite a few anime movies here, so I still see them, so that's awesome. So, kicking off, but before I begin, these series and everything else that's mentioned in this video are not in particular order of like how I'm excited for them. I will give each and every one of these series a try, and I'll probably give a review for them by the end of next year if like that's what you guys want to see. But yeah, I'm just ranking these by like all the anime that I'm aware of that are coming out. I'm sure there's a lot more that are coming out next year, but if there's any that I missed, feel free to comment in the video and let me know. So the first series that I'm really excited for, which is set to premiere on Toonami, is called Lazarus. Lazarus is a series that's being created by Shinichiro Watanabe, who, if you guys aren't familiar with anime, or if you are, he's the same guy who created not only Cowboy Bebop, but also Samurai Champloo, which are two series that I absolutely adore and continue to watch to this day. Now, there's not been a whole lot of plot revealed, but basically the gist is in the future there's this new drug called Lazarus, which has been given to people and is supposedly like supposed to help with like all sorts of ailments and everything. Only problem is, like now they find out that everyone who's taken this drug has mysteriously died, and they think the drug may be to blame. So this group of people are brought together to investigate what's going on and to figure out how to stop this from happening before more people die. And the next series, which I only just like found out about because I've been seeing the manga at Barnes and Noble, is Gachiakuda. I could be mispronouncing that, but don't blame me. I have a terrible time pronouncing Japanese words. So Gachiakuda takes place in like sort of like a hierarchy based society where basically all these people like live in like the undercity, kind of like the city of Piltover and Zaun in Arcane or League of Legends, whichever one you know about first. So, and in this story, the main character, I do not know his name. Like I said, my knowledge of this is fairly like limited, but I am aware of the gist. So basically, this kid, he and his father live in this undercity. He comes back one day after hanging out with a bunch of his buddies, and he finds his father has been killed. And when the police arrive, he's taken into custody and subsequently thrown into the pit, which is basically like this underground city where all like the animals, all this other stuff is there. And realizing that he's been framed for his father's murder, and thinking that like the higher ups of society are to blame, he vows to fight his way out of there and bring down the society. I know that's a plot that's been like used a bunch of times, like an oppressed character like going up against the upper echelons of society. I know like it seems like it's repetitive, but depending on the execution and how the storyline goes, I think this could be a really fun series to watch. Now, this next series I just found out about because I was looking up like upcoming anime to see like what's coming out besides like other anime that I'm familiar with. Dark Demon of Paradise. I looked into this and I found out that the manga has recently been translated and has been selling here in the US. Basically this kid, he's a teenager I believe, but it takes place I think in the feudal era somewhere, or it could be taking place in a different time period altogether. I don't know. But he comes home and his father's been murdered. I know parent murder is as common in anime as it is in Disney movies, but basically what happens is he finds out that he actually has demon blood in his veins, and he finds out that there's been a long running war between demons and heroes. And from the looks of it, from the looks of like the art online, as well as like the panels that I've seen like online looking at this looks like it could be like one of those edgy anime where like the protagonist is like, oh, I'm gonna kill everyone. I don't care about anything. Nothing personal, kid. I'm sorry, that was terrible. But that's the kind of manga that I like to give a read, because sometimes I like that darker, edgier stuff, because sometimes it's okay to like have the nice cutesy stuff for the characters that like actually have noble intentions besides just being gritty for the sake of being gritty. But sometimes it's basically like a mixed bag for some people. But if you like it, if you have fun with it, who cares? Kind of like it's a so bad it's good type situation. Now, this next one I'm really excited for because I've been reading the manga and it is awesome. Sakamoto Days. For those of you who are wondering what this one is about, imagine John Wick, but his wife never dies and they like shacked up and had a kid. That's basically Sakamoto. I do not remember his last name because it's been a while since I've read the latest volume, but basically this guy, he used to be the world's greatest assassin. But then he retired, he got married, and he has a family now, and he basically works in a convenience store. But all of a sudden, more assassins who want to like earn like, I'm not sure if I don't remember if like they're doing it for recognition or if they just want to have the challenge of killing the world's formerly greatest assassin. But basically all these assassins come after him, but this man hasn't lost his touch. Like, he looks totally unsuspecting. Like, he looks like the type of guy that you would see like playing bingo at the old folks home, or like just some rando that you'd see on the street having lunch somewhere. But in reality, this man is basically like a Swiss Army knife badass. Like, he's been able to kick the butts of like people that are like still in their prime, and he's like an old guy. But if the manga if the anime is going to be as good as the manga, then I think I have high hopes for it. Next is Guilty Gear Strive Dual Rulers. Now, Guilty Gear is another franchise that I've just been getting into. I've literally been playing it at a gaming club with a bunch of my friends, and all I know is that like it takes place in an alternate world where I think magic and technology coexist, and basically all these characters are like fighting. Like I said, I have little to no knowledge. I've just played it with my friends because it's fun. Basically, like this anime takes place after the latest video game, Guilty Gear Strive, which I do have a lot of fun playing. I'm not sure like how it's gonna follow the plot of the video game, because normally like when you play story mode in fighting games, like you have fun playing the game, but in the same token, you're just fighting CPUs and like you see the story unfold in cutscenes. I don't know about you, I'm not a particular fan of that, but it'd be interesting to see how this turns out. Now, this next series I'm very excited for because I'm a Fate fan. So this series is called Fate Strange Fake, and this is going to be another series that like includes what was it? Ah, man, I'm forgetting his name. Oh, Gilgamesh. Yes, it includes Gilgamesh, who besides Saber has been one of the most recognized characters from the Fate franchise. And in this series, it also has his love interest Enkidu, I don't know. But yeah, basically, like, it's a new take on the Third Holy Grail War, which has been a moment that was talked about numerous times, or, like, you see it unfold in the franchise. But let me tell you, there's so many spin-offs of this. I don't know which one is, like, canon or which one is its own separate timeline. I don't know. But I would like to see where it goes, because even though, yes, it can be a little convoluted, it can be a little confusing at times, the Fate series has had some great fight scenes, and the animation is top tier. I do not know who's developing this series. It would be nice if Ufotable did it, because they've also done like the other Fate series, like Unlimited Blade Works, as well as Heaven's Feel. But overall, I just like will wait and see how this turns out. Now, for the last new series that I'm talking about, Devil May Cry. Now, the last Devil May Cry anime came out, I think, in '06. So it's been excuse me, it's literally been 18 years since the last Devil May Cry anime, like, it was in anime format. I mean, obviously, we've gotten a bunch of the games, like, we had the trashy DMC reboot, which a lot of people weren't big fans of. And then we had Devil May Cry 5, which people loved. I like the soundtrack. I have a very hard time playing the game. Like, I try to get the combos, but I cannot do it. That's why, like, I leave that to my cousin. He's really good at playing Devil May Cry. But this anime series, I mean, I count it as an anime because it's very anime-esque, just like Castlevania and Captain Laserhawk. It's also being developed by the same person who helped develop those series, Adi Shankar. He's a guy that has made a lot of really good animated shows at Netflix. So I think like if this show, if it's as any good as those other shows, then I will watch the hell out of this. Like, say what you want about some Netflix shows, Castlevania, Captain Laserhawk, those ones are classics. They are really good and are probably some of the best. Like, I mean, I guess you could kind of count Captain Laserhawk as a video game adaptation because it has a crap ton of Ubisoft property characters in it. But Castlevania is perhaps one of the best video game franchise adaptations I've ever seen done to media. Now, moving on to sequel shows, I am really excited about the 8th season of My Hero Academia. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about the franchise due to the fandom. But if you put all that aside, the anime is a great watch. It has great fights, great character development, great interactions among the cast. It's a great show to watch. And it can definitely like resonate with a lot of people, like people who have had social anxiety, who have had depression, and that's why I like the author so much, because he does really good at writing a lot of these characters that can, obviously, like, their abilities are very far-fetched, but a lot of them can be relatable due to their circumstances or other aspects of their lives. And I am just very excited to see how it turns out. I mean, yes, like the rest of you, I was very disappointed by the manga ending, so I hope the anime can make up for that in some capacity, but regardless of how you think of the manga, I am still going to watch the anime because I love everything about it. Now, the next series that I am very excited to get a sequel is Frieren Season 2. I watched Frieren in the English dub, and words cannot express how awesome it was. Like, it was great. I mean, everyone did really good in this show. Like, a big shout out to Mally Rodak, Jill Harris, and Jordan Dash Cruz for your performances. I really loved your performance in this, but it was just a great series overall. Like, even like the fight scenes, like, I'm like, holy hell, this looks like it could have been animated like sometimes by ufotable. If I keep mentioning that, I'm sorry. It's just I really love their animation, but I'm really excited to see how it goes from here because I haven't read the manga and I probably should, so I like get a good idea of what to expect. So I am very excited about that one. Next up is the second season of the 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You. And I know that's a mouthful, but it's the title. Just ask the manga author. That's what it is. I watched this season, excuse me, the first season of the show with my cousin, and I absolutely loved it. It was very hilarious, a lot of crazy antics going on with the cast, but I just loved the chemistry between them and like the development of like how crazy, well not crazy, but how like out of this, okay, I guess you could say crazy, how crazy some of these girlfriends are. Not in terms of like mental health, they're all perfectly sane, but it's like you've got Karne, the tsundere, you've got Hakari, who I don't think you could call a yandere, but basically like she's very thirsty for Rentaro. She's got the little quiet girl who loves books. Nano, the chick who's basically like almost a Terminator minus all the killing shit. And then Kusuri, who's the little chemist who can shrink from like a teeny tiny kid self to her real self, who's basically a high school junior. And then Hakuri's mom, for those of you who are familiar with all the memes, mother-daughter double whopper. But yeah, if they keep up this the pacing of like introducing 6 girlfriends every season, that'd be like 10 seasons worth or over 10 seasons worth. But I don't know if they will like continue the anime. But the author himself, or I don't know, I'm not familiar with the author's gender. But the author has stated that they're dedicating themselves to getting to that full 100. So I would like to see how that turns out. Next is Delicious in Dungeon Season 2. I never thought an anime cooking show could bring such like delicious looking food, like delicious fictional looking food to the screen. But lo and behold, this show did that. Another show where I really like the core cast and like a lot of the crazy stuff that they're doing, like Marcel. Literally, I feel like I could relate to Marcel because as a kid, I was a very picky eater. Just ask my mom. But, excuse me. Yeah, like a lot of the food that like she doesn't want to eat is like monster food. If I would probably be the same way. Like I was the same way with a lot of the food that I eat a lot now. But all I can say is every time I watch this show, I have to have like a little snack or something. Because sometimes when I eat and I'm watching like a food based show, I like to imagine what I'm eating is tasting like what they're eating. I know that seems kind of weird, but it's just how I feel about food sometimes. So very excited about that one. Next is Spy X Family Season 4. I've been watching this anime a lot. I've also been watching it with some of my friends in subbed and dubbed. No offense to the subcast. I mean, sub is a good thing to watch if like you want to hear it in like the native language. But the dub casts do very well, and I love the chemistry between Lloyd, Anya, and Yor. And I actually met Yor's voice actress at Youmacon a couple weeks ago, and she was super nice. Like she was really nice, and I'd love to meet the like some others of the cast so I can tell them I really like your performance as this character. What do you want to see happen for this character? Because so far there's a lot of stuff going on that I really enjoyed. I've loved how the story from the manga has been adapted into the show, and I wonder where it's going to go from here. Because like there's a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes, a lot of stuff that I cannot wait to see happen. All I can say is if by the end of this show or the series in general, like the manga ends first, which I think it probably will, if Lloyd and Yor don't get together, I will be very, very ticked off. But overall, that is one that I really want to see. And second, next I should say, I feel like I've been waiting for this second season for a long time. The Saga of Tanya the Evil, Season 2. This anime was awesome because, for one thing, it mixes like magic and World War One warfare. And I know like it sounds kind of crazy, like oh my god, they're gonna have like war crimes or whatever. It's not like that. I mean, yes, you do see stuff that could count as war crimes in this anime, but it's fictional. I mean, yes, you can like feel empathy for the characters that are at the receiving end of it, but if it doesn't affect you, it's fine. But I am just really, really excited to see how this season turns out because sometimes when they span out like the sequels, because like if a series like premieres at such and such a date and comes out like 10, 12 years later, you don't know if a lot of the cast have aged out of their roles, if they're pursuing other pursuits, or if they don't want to come back. I'm just looking forward to seeing that crazy little girl again because the last time that we saw Tanya and the rest of the cast was actually in a separate show called Isekai Quartet, which I would highly recommend to you guys because it crosses over a bunch of different anime isekais. I really enjoyed that one. It's nice and humorous. It doesn't have the darker undertones of a lot of the shows that like the core cast are from. So I would definitely recommend it. Next is Kaiju number 8 season 2. This is probably my favorite shonen series as of this moment. Like it's had some really great fight scenes. I love the monster designs. I love the weapon designs of the characters and the character designs especially. But I watched season 1 and it was really good. I really liked the animation of this one. I wondered how they could have like done the animation like that, like compared to like the destructive fight scenes of the show itself, of the manga, I should say. But the anime did a really good job, and the humor, like reading something funny in the manga, is not the same as watching it unfold in the anime. So that was a nice little thing to see. So like I'm caught up with the manga right now, and it gets crazier. Like if you thought like this season was crazy and some of the fights are crazy, just wait until you get further in because so much stuff goes down. Like I guarantee you, a lot of people's jaws will be on the floor. Next, another series that I've been waiting for another season is One Punch Man Season 3. I know it's been a while since One Punch Man Season 2 came out, and a lot of people were very iffy on it because of the shift in animation quality, but I still found a way to enjoy it. I mean, yes, the animation could have been better at times, but I still had a good time watching the show. And I've been reading the manga like ever like past where season 2 ended. the fights get way crazier. And I personally think that Garo is going to be the threat that gives Saitama the fight of his life, because I mean, not trying to spoil it for those of you guys who are anime watchers only, but he gets way more powerful. Like almost like it seems like he could get almost as powerful as Saitama. I mean, he can't beat him in one punch like Saitama can, but I just cannot wait to see how their fight unfolds, because that will be insane. For the final second season that I'm talking about for this list is My Happy Marriage season 2. I had never heard of this story until I watched the anime, and basically it follows this girl Mio and like details her life in a very neglectful, nearly abusive household. Because if I remember correctly, because it's been a while since I finished the first season, she doesn't have like magical powers like her stepsister does. It's kind of like a Cinderella story, except her father's still alive, and he's just as a big POS as her stepmother and her stepsister are. But then she gets married off to this guy who basically works for like the Demon Defense Force, I think was what it was called. Because basically in this world, magic exists, demons exist, and they have special like units to fight them. So yeah, she gets married off to this guy, and he seems like a total douche. But over time, like he's just like Shrek. Like you peel the layers of the onion back, and you realize that he's not so bad. All I can say is I was really happy with how season 1 ended, but because I realized that there was more volumes in the manga, there's more story to develop. I'm just like, come on, could you give the girl a break? She's literally found happiness. She looks like she's gonna be in a happy marriage, but her folks are still around, so I cannot wait to see how they try to ruin her life, and I really hope that they get their comeuppance again, because seeing like arrogant people or people that abuse the main character get their just desserts much later is so satisfying to see. Now, for the last stretch of stuff that we're talking about today is anime movies, which I mentioned earlier I love to see. The first anime movie that I am really, really excited for is Lord of the Rings War for the Rohirrim. I could be saying that wrong, because a lot of the words in Tolkien's universe, I have no idea what the hell they mean, or how the hell they're supposed to be pronounced. But overall, this takes place 183 years before the events of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and The Hobbit as well. So basically, like, it follows this girl Hera, who's the daughter of Helm Hammerhand, I believe his name is. And after like they get in a fight with like the barbarians of that world, he basically kills the guy in one punch. Sorry, I wanted to sneak in that reference there. And the chieftain's son, Wolf, who was friends with Hera growing up, he swears revenge on them, and basically like it launches a war between their two factions. This is the first time that Lord of the Rings has been done in anime format, and I think it looks fantastic. I mean, so far the creature designs look great, the characters look awesome, and it looks like you could have a lot of awesome fight scenes. And the way like some of the animation was done, like in certain frames of it in the trailer, it looks like it could have been done by Studio Ghibli. I do not know who's doing this series, but all I can say is, as soon as it comes out in December, I am gonna see it, because that is one anime movie that I think will be really, really awesome. Next is Batman Ninja vs. Yakuza League. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. When the idea of Batman Ninja was revealed and the trailer came out, I'm like, wait, this is CG? And Batman gets isekai to Japan? I'm like, this is going to be stupid. But I watched it, and I took it back. Like, I was so wrong. Surprisingly, mixing Batman with, like, Japanese mythology, well, not mythology, but, like, with the technology that they had, it was awesome. And to see Batman use a katana and go up against the Joker in a sword fight, I thought that was great. And a lot of the designs of the characters were really cool. Like I really liked the design of Batman, and I liked how they had Roger Craig Smith, who voiced Batman in Arkham Origins, which in my opinion is an underrated and sometimes overhated Arkham game. That he returned, and that Grey Delisle returned as Catwoman, and that a lot of the cast like returned as like their characters, except the Joker, who was voiced by a different guy compared to Mark Hamill. It was very good. Now, I'm thinking, if I remember correctly, I think I read that like the Yakuza League is basically like comprised of evil like Japanese supervillains. But all I can say is I'm really excited for that one, and I don't know if it might come out in theaters, but if not, I will buy it on DVD because I liked Batman Ninja, so I have it in my DVD collection. Next is one anime that I literally am so excited for because I have the entire manga series and I'm rereading it right now. I am talking about Demon Slayer, Infinite Castle. And this arc is where like the Demon Slayer Corps basically like go full balls to the wall and are going after Muzan. I said it. But basically they go into his castle and they're gonna get like wrapped up in like the Jenga Rubik's Cube mess that it is. And if it like the manga was fantastic to read for this part, I wonder how they'll do that in animation. But so far, the animation for Demon Slayer hasn't skipped a beat. So I think they will do really good with this one because I have watched every single one of the movies up until this point, and I'm not going to be ready to say goodbye to the anime. I mean, you always have the manga, but it's just when you watch an anime for so long and you're connected to it, it's going to feel sad to see it go. But I am very, very excited to see how that goes. Now, the last movie that I am talking about is Chainsaw Man Rize Arc movie. For those of you who are unfamiliar, this movie for Chainsaw Man is based on an arc where Denji meets Rize, this pretty girl who seems to be into him. But this girl is not who she says she is. There's a lot more to her than meets the eye. And basically, this arc will follow like Denji talking to her and ultimately the stuff that'll happen. I'm not going to give it away for those of you who haven't read the manga or watched the anime. If you haven't watched it, read it. It's awesome. I really wonder how they will do this movie because I would have liked it if it was in a series format, but I think in a movie format, it would be much more better executed that way. So that concludes the anime that I'm excited for in 2025. I think I got to 20. If not, please let me know and I will try to fix it. So as always, I enjoy talking with you guys. Please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe for more. I would really like to hear from you guys, see what you would like me to talk about. But until then, I'm Big Fella, and I will see you next time.